So, namaste and welcome to this Spanish Satsang. And first thing we're going to do is to go through some, excuse me, some questions that have been sent in. Becky, in a moment, is going to read them out for me and then we'll answer them. And then we'll come to questions here live on the session. And I can see there's already one hand up, and that's great. Priority tonight is going to go to people who need translation for asking a question or interpretation. So please, if you have a question and you're an English speaker, please wait until the Spanish questions have been answered. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Becky, if you'd like to get started.
Okay, this is question one. Hello, Helen and Pilar. I wanted to know more about this. Sometimes when I help someone, I think I'm not being honest in that help, but I feel that I do it for some interest, or also when some person that seeks awakening, and one feels that one contributes something to that person. One feels, or I feel, I put myself in a place where I believe more. And I know that is not true, but I am sorry. I don't know if I was clear. Thank you for your attention and listening to me.
Thank you. So I feel that what you're saying is that you sometimes feel that there are two motivations for helping someone or doing anything. And the first is the ego that wants to feel better about itself. And sometimes, as you said here, there's some self-interest in that. There's something that the ego or the separate sense of self is trying to achieve or gain by that. Sometimes trying to make ourselves feel more important or valued or special or anything like that. So it's very normal. And the second reason is because the infinite self, who you really are, is also participating in the action. So don't worry about the spiritual ego so much. It will fade away in time as you see who you really are clearer. As you see that you have never been a separate person, you begin to recognize the consciousness that you are. It's going to become clearer that there isn't really an ego. It's just a bunch of thoughts, a collection of thoughts. And as soon as it's becoming clearer that there's only one being and that there aren't any others out there really, then this motivation of the ego begins to fall away. So it's very normal, and it was the same for me too. There was something here that wanted to feel different or special or liked or validated, something like that. But over time, it just began to fade away. Instead, you bring the focus to what is real about you rather than trying to get rid of this egoic sense of a someone. Just to see that that's not real, this separate sense of self is enough. And to keep bringing attention back to what is real is enough. So hope that helps. Thanks, Becky.
Is the soul the same as the ego?
You could say that the soul is a subtle manifestation arising out of the infinite self. It's an energy form, it's our individuality, it's not separate to the formless consciousness that we are. And it is the first subtle arising, we could say. It's been called soul or jiva in the East. But it is slightly different than the ego. The ego is a collection of thoughts that originate from the soul, but are not really, they're thoughts that are based in illusion. So if the soul thinks that it is separate from everything else, or thinks that it is the body, then the ego is produced. And it's just a contracted ball of thoughts that really, um, the beliefs, first of all, that I'm a separate being, and then the beliefs that come after that, like I'm not safe or I'm not good enough. So you could say that the ego arises out of the soul, and the soul is apparently moving from lifetime to lifetime. It's having a body appear inside it, having a life, living a life, and then it will step out of that body when it can no longer use it, and it will go to another one in order to try to fulfill its latent desires to feel safe, to feel a deep sense of union or intimacy, desire to be free, all of those. So there is a difference between the soul and the ego, and the soul can exist without the ego. The ego cannot really exist without the soul. Having said that, it's really good to be clear that you are neither of those. You are watching those. You are the infinite formless consciousness that first arises as a soul and individuality. What makes your mind and body and you special and unique is the soul, a collection of everything you've transcended and achieved. And then while you still think you're separate, this thing called ego also arises out of that. So hope that helps. Thanks, Becky.
Is it inconceivable to me? It is inconceivable to me that everything just happens inside me. If we are all Helen happening inside Helen, what is the point of Helen telling us everything happens inside us? If we are only inside Helen, does Helen exist? If so, how can I then be told that only I exist and Helen is in me? I understand that actually when you say I or Helen, you are not referring to the separate ego, but what is perceived in me is different from what is perceived in Helen. Therefore, we cannot simply be inside each other. If I am perceived by Helen, she cannot be within me because for her, it is I who am within her, and vice versa. Beings that do not exist outside of us. So why talk to that suffering interlocutor who does not exist outside of you? Why sympathize with or help that which does not exist?
Why help that which does not exist? Well, if there's only one being, let's keep this really simple. There's only one being, and it has many names. It has this name, Helen. It has all the names here on this satsang. It has your name, person who sent this question in. It has every name, every human being, whatever each human being is called. That's another name for the one being. It also has lots of names like consciousness, presence, divinity. And that one being is expressing itself as an infinite number of individual appearances, an infinite number. So it's one being, but expressing itself in infinite number of ways. And in some of those ways, it's expressing itself, it's still very, very much lost in illusion. In some other ways, it's completely come out of illusion, and we call those awakened beings. And in other places, it's halfway in between that. It's not quite completely asleep and not fully, completely out of illusion. So why does the one being talk to itself? Why hold a satsang like this? Why do I spend time talking to myself? I am the one being, just as you are. When theoretically it would be enough to say, you don't exist as a separate being and neither do I. There's only one being. The reason for any teacher teaching is really because illusion, the idea that we are a separate being, a someone or a person, is so alluring and addictive and has a momentum that even if we were to say those words, we could finish this satsang now and say, none of us here are separate beings. We're all arising out of the one being. But could we hear that? Could we actually take that in when our thoughts are continuously thinking like a separate being? I need to reach awakening, or I need to get more money, or I need to find a way to get rid of this fear. All of our thought structure is in separation usually. And so even if we hear what the teacher says, yeah, there's only one being. 2 minutes later, we're back thinking in terms of separation again, and it's very normal. So why bother with all of this? Compassion, love. Because even after an individual expression of ourselves, of the one self, has come out of illusion and is living free, we still remember just how convincing that illusion was and how we had to hear it again and again from the truth, the teaching. There is only one being. We had to experience it again and again, just like every being that has completely stepped out of illusion. There's no way for it's very rare that a being only needs to hear it once, and I've never met any. So satsang is just you reminding you, I'm not inside of you, you're not inside of me. There's just you, just the one being, if you prefer, if that's easier, just the infinite self, and all the ways it's appearing as apparent separate beings. So in some places you're appearing as a seeker of truth, and other places as a teacher to remind yourself of what you need to hear. And we all need to hear it over and over again. I certainly did. So hope that helps. Thanks, Becky.
Dear Helen, in the last retreat at El Escorial, I had a very intense experience of great emotional discharge, with a lot of trembling and crying, when I felt that what I said to you provoked your sad countenance. Since then, when I resonate with readings or listen to a video, something makes me feel that emotion, now of calm and certainty, accompanied by slight trembling, especially of the head, the trembling that has been diminishing since then. Could you explain to me what this is all about? Thank you very much. A hug full of love and gratitude.
Thank you. So what happened there at retreat was that there was a release of a blockage in the energy system for you. Some idea that you were holding on to before that moment, that you couldn't get it, you couldn't see it, you couldn't see what other people were seeing and what I was describing at retreat, that there is only this one being. In that moment, that direct moment that we had, there was some willingness in you to let go of that idea. And as soon as that willingness arose, this big upsurge of energy, of life force could begin to move. While we're holding on to an idea very, very tightly, we have to keep experiencing it. But the moment there was a willingness to let go, this energy rose up and there was a lot of emotion and a big release. And so when the energy moves up through the chakra system, there are sometimes blockages further up the system. And that's sometimes what the trembling is about. It's the energy trying to push its way up through the system and up towards the crown at the top of the head. So it's very normal. And it can be helped by doing some yoga postures, asanas, if you can and if you want to, or some stretching, or some nice gentle breathing. Also, pranayama, working with the breath to move the energy up consciously also really helps. But there's a shift that happens afterwards. There's more truth able to permeate the body and the mind. And that's why that sense of certainty, that knowingness, that's who you are, that knowingness. Not particularly that you know anything at all, but just the knowingness itself is the fundamental of who we are, a sense of certainty and clarity. And the trembling is going to diminish as the energy works its way through blockages. The body is energy, and so are the chakras and meridians. And so when we have a really um, low frequency idea that we're holding on to, such as I'm not good enough, for example, there's something wrong with me, that stops the flow. And as soon as we have a willingness to let go of any idea, the energy can begin to shift. So, what you experience is quite normal, but it can feel very strange sometimes. Um, but just keeping looking at ideas that aren't true in your self-inquiry, in your contemplation, and uh, keeping going with your meditation each day, and the energy will work its way through. So, hope that helps. Thanks, Becky. I think this is the last one.
I have a question in
Becky,
relation
could we
to
ask you to,
the doer being
can you hear
aware of
me?
awareness. I had chosen that one from the beginning because always in everyday life, from a very young age, or even as a child, I was aware of something, observing myself, other people, and the world. Somehow my
Can you hear me,
personality,
Becky?
yeah.
Sorry, could you
Shall I?
maybe turn your video off and start again because the signal's not very good. Thank you.
I have a question in relation to the doer being aware of awareness. I have chosen that one from the beginning because always in everyday life, from a very young age, or even as a child, I was aware of something, observing myself, other people, and the world. Somehow my personality did not merge with the environment and other people because I was always aware of something, observing. I did not know what it is. Is that being aware of consciousness, or is that the observer? Is there a difference between them? Thank you very much. Best regards.
Thank you, Becky, for reading for me. Wonderful. So I'll answer this question and then we'll open it up for questions here on the session. So yes, that is being aware of awareness. There's something observing, witnessing, watching. Right now, it's watching whatever you see through your eyes. It's listening to whatever's coming in through your ears. There's something always present in you that is observing. And when you notice that, that's being aware of awareness. We could call it awareness, observer, consciousness, presence, silence, or stillness, or any of these names. But it's really something that's formless and is constantly here. And it is that in which the body and mind appear. And it's constantly watching or listening or just being aware. There isn't any quality to it. There's nothing you can use to really define it, even though we give it these names. And some people seem to be aware of that, to recognize that something is watching sooner than others. If you've been always aware of this, then that's quite wonderful. And the thing is now that you're coming to recognize that that which is aware is infinite and it is your real nature. It's not a personal observer, a separate being observing. It is infinite awareness. There's only one awareness looking through all the bodies at the same time. Some people call it observer, and sometimes the word observer means something different in different teachings. But here, we're just going to put it all together: observer, awareness, presence, stillness, and it is that which is aware. So, hope that helps. Yeah, just noticing that which is noticing, being aware of awareness. Okay, so I want to go to the questions here live. Please, if you are an English speaker, please put your hand down for now. We'll take the Spanish speaking questions first so that we can have and we'll come to the English ones later if there's time. Okay, so we'll start with José Luis when you're ready.
Hola, hola Helen, Pilar, encantado de verte.
Nice to see you.
Hola Susana. Bueno, te quería comentar que he estado haciendo imaginación consciente desde que hablamos en el retiro del Escorial, ya hace bastante, cada día.
One moment, please. I want to talk about conscious imagining. I've been doing that ever since we were in the retreat.
Y bueno, no me está funcionando. No.
It's not working for me.
Entonces no sé qué errores puedo estar cometiendo.
I don't know which are the mistakes I might be making.
No sé si me imagino de cosas demasiado grandes o eso no importa o no lo sé.
I don't know if perhaps I'm imagining things that are too big.
So, can you give me an example of what you're imagining? If you wouldn't mind sharing.
Pues en el tema económico, no. Bueno, pues en el tema económico, pues tener suficiente dinero para hacer cualquier cosa, ¿no? Cualquier proyecto. Sí, eso.
In my finances, to have money enough to do any project I would like to do.
Okay. And can you see a clear image of what that would look like if it had happened? So can you imagine what you would actually do with that money? Can you paint a clear picture, like in your mind, like, for example, you go to the bank and you put your card into the machine and you look at the screen and you go, wow, look at that. There has to be some clear imagining of it's already happened. So you might imagine yourself buying a new car or going on holiday, but actually using that money as if you already had it. Or maybe you have a project that you already, I'd like to build another part on my house, an extension on my house or something. Can you have do you have a little movie in your mind of what you would do with the money?
Sí, sí, lo tengo bastante claro. Lo tengo bastante claro.
Yes, it's quite clear for me.
Okay. And does it feel good when you imagine it? Really good.
Sí, sí.
Yes.
What you want to do is to feel so good when you have your eyes closed and you're imagining something so good that you don't even need it to happen because you're enjoying yourself so much inside. You're having this amazing time inside that you feel so good anyway, right?
Creo recordar que sí, creo que sí. A lo mejor a veces lo hago como un poco mecánico, como toca los 5 minutos de imaginación, ¿no? Pero sí que tengo claro y me siento bien pensando en ello.
I have clarity and I feel good when I think about that.
Okay. And next thing to check then is that you are the rest of the time outside, when you've finished your imagining, the rest of your day, are there lots of negative thoughts about finances?
Puede que sí, aunque conscientemente trato de... Los observo, ¿no? Aunque sí que hay cierta negatividad al respecto a la economía. Sí.
Yes, there are negative thoughts about finances.
Okay, so I want to give you something to do that's going to really help move this faster. And it's called a miracle journal. And it really worked for me. So we can do this with anything that we're imagining about. We can do this. Let me give an example about finances because that's also what happened for me. So your miracle journal is you write down every time some financial miracle happens, even if it's really small, really small. So an example is you're out walking along the street and you find a coin on the street, a penny or a cent on the street, just a coin. Mostly we would either pick it up and put it in our pocket or we would just walk right past it. So I want you to put that in your miracle journal. I want you to celebrate it. If you go to the store and you have to buy some milk and it's cheaper than you thought it would be, that also goes in your miracle journal. And every little thing, if you lent your friend 10 euros and he gives it back to you, that goes in your miracle journal. And I know it seems to the mind like these things aren't miracles, but they really are. They are money coming in, but we don't celebrate that. We say, I want the bigger amounts of money. And this is only a penny on the street. It's not worth anything. So when I did this, at first it was very slow to start because my thinking was very much focused on what I don't have. But as I did this miracle journal day by day, I began to have pages and pages of these little miracles. And it changed everything inside. And slowly the miracles got bigger and bigger and bigger, larger amounts of money coming from random places. And it became such a beautiful thing just to read the journal, to go back and watch how it has changed day by day. If you will do this, and anyone can that's listening, you can do it around anything. It doesn't have to be money, whatever you're imagining. You'll begin to shift your focus to looking at what's already coming in for you. Our conscious imagining is like planting seeds in the ground. And then when the rest of our day is very full of negative thinking about those seeds, as they start to grow, we're standing all over them, stamping on them. So the miracle journal is going to turn that around. Will you have a go at it for me?
Claro, sí. Por otro lado, te quería comentar sobre unas palabras de Ramana que decía que si algo está destinado a suceder, sucederá, hagas lo que hagas para conseguirlo. Y si algo está destinado a no suceder, no sucederá, hagas lo que hagas para evitarlo.
Yes, I'm going to try. And I also want to comment on some Ramana words that say that if something is meant to happen, it will happen. And if it's not meant to happen, it won't happen.
And the reason that you want it is because it's meant to happen. Good news. Yes. You're not a separate being. So what you want is what the infinite self wants more abundance in all the ways it can experience it. Next time I see you, you'll be smiling so big because you'll be showing me your journal. Yeah. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Jalilo, I think. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly.
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
Mucho gusto comunicarme contigo.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Helen, mi consulta con que si bien todos los días yo practico alguna técnica, indagación, contemplación, autoindagación, no tengo un maestro o un guía en particular a seguir.
I practice every day meditation, contemplation, self-inquiry, but I don't have just one particular teacher to follow.
Escucho a muchos a tres o cuatro contigo, que señalan lo mismo, pero me hace ruido el no tener uno en particular porque mi espíritu es muy movedizo.
I follow four teachers, including you, but it makes me feel restless not to have just one.
Y me parece que si eligiese a uno, podría enfocarme más en las indicaciones. ¿Eso es así? ¿Una idea preconcebida? ¿O va a suceder cuando tenga que suceder? Porque intento quedarme con uno, pero no puedo.
I
Gracias.
think I think I could be more focused if I just stayed with one teacher. Is it really true or is it just an idea? Thank you.
It's very normal, very common to have many teachers at first, especially today, because there's so many teachers on YouTube and internet. But if you feel that one of those teachers that you have has given you a practice that you really feel aligned with in your heart, then I would really suggest picking one of those teachers with that practice and staying with it. Because it was the same for me. I was watching so many teachers that there were so many different things coming. And the reason I was watching so many teachers was as a way to avoid, I didn't know at the time, but as a way to avoid actually committing to a consistent practice. So it happens very often. And you can feel inside yourself, as you said, that there's an urge to just stop shopping around for teachers and pick one and just focus with that one particular teaching. So if you have that urge inside, then I really would say, yes, do that. Really, it doesn't matter which teacher. When the urge is there to focus like you have, it will always, the real self will always come to recognize itself. Sometimes it's a little bit of resistance manifesting by picking, like when you walk into a restaurant and there's all these different foods that you could eat, and you're tasting and nibbling each of them, but you never sit down and have a full meal. It's kind of a subtle way that we resist applying one teaching and applying it consistently until we're out of illusion for good. And any authentic teacher or teaching will be saying the same thing anyway. So it doesn't matter which one you pick. Pick one that resonates and stay with it. Just for a little while. Does that help?
Sí, por ahora no tengo en claro cuál. Por eso la pregunta tenía que ver con si hay alguna indicación para poder elegir. Pero supongo que bueno, que en algún momento va a decantar y sucederá.
Yes, I don't have clarity in which one to choose. Perhaps it's just going to happen in one moment and I will know.
Yes. And you can also feel in your body, you can use your body to tell you. You can hold a picture of each teacher inside your mind and feel how your body responds to that. And each one, there will be a different response in the body, sometimes more intense positively, sometimes less intense. And it's the best idea to go with the one that feels the best inside your body. Sometimes you might get some sense of opening or relaxation when you do this, or even goosebumps, or a rush of energy, or some better feeling. But really, you can't get it wrong. You could toss a coin and say, heads, I keep these two teachers, tails, I get rid of those. And then I toss the coin again. Heads, I keep this one final teacher. And I know it sounds a very silly way to make a big decision, but you can't get it wrong because, as you said, it's going to happen anyway. So don't worry about the decision. And you don't have to say goodbye to the other three teachers completely. You just need some time to just be with one teaching. Probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months of just really applying this teaching, whichever one. And at that point, you will have committed and the resistance will be gone then. So whichever way works for you, either asking your body or tossing a coin. Thank you. Wonderful.
Muy claro, gracias. Abrazo.
Very clear. Thank you. Big hug.
Thank you. So we're looking for people who need translation. Lena, do you need translation right now? Yes. Was that a yes? Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hola, qué gusto estar aquí. Es la primera vez que estoy en un Satsang directo contigo.
First Satsang live for me with you. So nice.
Es un gusto en verdad estar acá.
So nice to be here.
Y ya tengo tiempo escuchándote, haciendo las meditaciones, la contemplación.
I've been following you for a while now.
Y la primera vez que escuché el libro de Comprobando la Realidad,
The first time I listened to the book Reality Check,
fue un libro que me encantó tanto, o sea, resonaba tanto con la búsqueda.
this book resonated so much with my search
Que lo escuché una y otra vez, la parte uno y la parte 2.
that I listened to it over and over again, both parts 1 and 2.
Y esa ocasión yo iba manejando
I was driving.
por un largo trayecto, fueron varias horas,
I was driving for several hours,
y tuve la experiencia de sentir que algo me llevaba.
and I had the experience to feel that something was carrying me.
Y sin embargo he volvido a ir al libro y no puedo volver a conectar con eso.
But I have I return to the book and I can't connect with that again.
Sé que el ego hace lo posible para que uno no vaya a ese espacio, porque es como su deshacimiento.
I know the ego, it's doing its work
Porque va a desaparecer.
because it doesn't want to punish.
Y bueno, mi pregunta sería, ¿qué me aconsejarías para persistir en esa experiencia de ser llevada por una fuerza superior a la mía, a mi individualidad?
My question for you is, what would you recommend in order for me to be carried for a force that is beyond me?
So, what you're experiencing is very normal. So, we have a taste of who we really are, an experience of it, something much bigger than we thought we were. And even if we've known it here in our mind, suddenly we experience it and it's very different. And of course, the desire arises then to live like that always because it's so delicious. And in order to live from that place constantly, we have to examine any ideas that are in the way, that are still in separation or are from our old sense of who we thought we were. So the first thing that usually happens is we have an experience of losing that. We feel it's gone, that delicious taste of reality, and that we're back into the ego or the mind, and we can't find our way back. Something like that. And all that's happening is our experience is showing us what we're believing inside. So our experience is a mirror of what needs to be examined in our consciousness. And what this experience is showing you is this idea inside that you can lose this. You can taste it, but then it has to go. That it's possible for you to do something accidentally or somehow lose the real self, the consciousness. So now we have to look at these ideas and say, is that true? If this is what I really am already. For me, I had many tastes like this, small ones, and afterwards then there would be this big rising up of mind, a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, and it would really feel like I'd lost it and it was gone. And I would really try to get it back, this awareness, silence, whatever we're calling it. So eventually I came to understand that I'm not going to it, I am it. And if I am the consciousness, the silence, can I lose it? I had to really sit with that question. It feels like, and it seems like I've lost it, it's gone. But can that be true if I am it? And as I started to question like this, it began to be present more and more often. First in little bits, and then more, and then more. And eventually it just didn't ever seem to go away. It's just constantly obvious and here. So your experience is showing you that there's still an idea inside that needs to be looked at. Can you get a sense of it?
Sí, de hecho sí, como que ahorita que dijiste es como esa sensación de carencia, de que hay que buscar algo, ¿no? O de que hay que encontrar algo, o de que una sensación así, como que sería como de un paralelo a la separación.
Yes, there would be a sense of lack that would be similar to the sensation of separation.
So let's ask this question now, here, if you want to. We can ask it together. Let's see. Is it really true you can lose this? And then we're asking this question together. We're not trying to find an answer. It's enough to simply ask this question, can I really lose it? And we just let this question do the work. And as we ask this question, can I really lose the silence, the consciousness? Something starts to open up then in that. Something starts to relax in that. Can you feel something happening? Can I really lose this?
Siento que se eleva energía, como tensión.
I feel the energy rising.
Just staying with this question. Is it really true I can lose this if I am it? And it stops the trying to get it back, which seems to push it away even more. We're just asking the question, is this really true? Can I lose it? And you just like this with the question, it's just an opening and a relaxing back into what's always here. You can feel it, right? Something is just kind of sinking into. Yeah.
Sí. De hecho, como que llega una especie de alegría.
Yes, I can feel joy.
Wonderful. And so some experiences might happen like this, but only to show us there's an idea that's blocking constantly living like this. An idea that was true when we thought we were a someone, but has to be let go of. So for me, this experience of losing it, gaining it, losing it, gaining it went on for a long time till I found this question. And any experience that you have now that you don't like is only showing you an idea that's now your ego is helping you, saying, ask this question now. Look at this experience and ask this question. And then I'll be gone, it says. Wonderful. Enjoy the question. Just relax into it, yeah.
Sí, muchas gracias, Helen. Sí, es útil, es útil. Vaciarse y hacerse la pregunta. Gracias.
Very useful to get empty and ask the question. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Good to talk to you. Okay, we will go to the two hands that are up now before we finish for this evening. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Lier. Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
Hola Helen, buenas noches, lo has dicho bien, sí, gracias.
Hi,
Bueno.
Helen. You said it right. Thank you.
Yay!
Muchas gracias por tus enseñanzas y por tu ayuda permanente. La
Thank you
verdad que
very
para mí
much.
es muy importante haberte encontrado.
Thank you very much for your teachings and for your constant support. For me, it's really important to have found you.
Mi pregunta tiene que ver con una ruptura sentimental que acabo de vivir. Y bueno, antes decías que lo que desea el ser infinito es lo que tiene que ocurrir, porque cuando el compañero comentaba esas palabras de Ramana en las que decía que lo que el destino ha decidido que sucederá, sucederá haga lo que haga y lo que ha decidido que no sucederá, no sucederá, haga lo que haga.
One moment.
My question is about a heartbreak I'm living now. And I'm remembering Ramana's words said before. If something is meant to happen, it will happen. If it's not meant to happen, it won't happen.
Mi anhelo era poder superar la crisis que veníamos viviendo mi pareja y yo desde hace tiempo.
My desire was that my partner and me could overcome what we were living, the problems we were living.
Intenté practicar la imaginación consciente, pero no podía, no acababa de verlo.
I tried with conscious imagining, but I couldn't see it clearly.
Entonces he practicado la contemplación con creencias que pensaba que estaban dificultando la imaginación consciente.
I have practiced contemplation with thoughts I thought were in the way of the conscious imagining.
Y bueno, lo cierto es que hace un par de días mi pareja decidió poner fin a la relación.
2 days ago, my partner finished the relationship.
Quería preguntar si ese anhelo que sigue siendo muy fuerte y muy intenso, ¿por qué no puede, dónde puede estar el obstáculo para que se resuelva de otra manera, para que pueda no ponerse fin a la relación?
I would like to know where the obstacle might be for this situation not to end in a break.
What if you are getting what you want, and it is just that this person is not the right person to make you as happy as you want to be? I know it's probably not what you want to hear right now, but when we're consciously imagining about a relationship, it's not really with that specific person that we're imagining. I mean, they might be in our imagining, in our pictures, but what we're really asking for is the feeling that comes from that. Perhaps a deep sense of feeling loved or safe or accepted or attractive or wanted, whatever the feeling is. When we're consciously imagining, what we really want with any desire is to feel a certain way, always. And so there might be someone in our life right now that perhaps isn't the best aligned with us to give us what we want. And so life moves you this way apart from each other so that someone else can come, because this person that you were with might be even happier with someone else, and you would be even happier with someone else. And I don't know this for certain. I'm just saying that we always get what we want, but we might look at a situation and say, this is not what I want. I'm doing this conscious imagining and I'm contemplating to let go of ideas. And then this relationship ends and it's the opposite of what I want. But if we could just not make any conclusions right now about this and see how it unfolds, either one or two things are going to happen. And that is that Firstly, this person might change. You might have some conversation and work something out, and you come back together and your relationship is even better than it was before. Or this person goes away and somebody new comes into your life, and the relationship is so much more coming from a place of real love than could have happened with the previous one. So we tend to block that manifestation when we say that this is not what I want. It looks like the opposite of what you're asking for. But as you said, if something isn't meant to be, it won't be. And our conscious imagining is speeding up what is meant to be. It's meant to be and it can't be stopped. But we're feeling good in our imagination, so we're bringing this thing to us much more smoothly and quickly. And every time I have seen it, so many times, that people are imagining about a relationship that they want. And the next day, I hear this message saying, they left me, they're gone. And the mind always says that this is the wrong thing happening. This should not be happening. This is not what I want. But do you really know that? What if there is someone there who is even more aligned with you than this person was? Can you, just for a little while, not draw any conclusions about something going wrong here?
Ujú. De acuerdo. Sí, me ayuda mucho lo que me dices, Helen.
All right, very useful.
En todo caso, la imaginación consciente ni siquiera podía practicarla, porque sentía que a pesar de que tenía un anhelo profundo de resolver la crisis, sentía que mi pareja se alejaba de mí y no podía verlo. Así que eso no he podido practicarlo.
Anyway, I couldn't practice conscious imagining with it, as I was feeling that my partner was moving away.
So even just practicing it once is going to make it happen. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And you're just lessening the resistance. When you feel good in your imagining, you're allowing what's trying to already happen to come quicker. So you watch, in a couple of months or less, you'll be telling me, I've met someone new and they're amazing, and something wonderful is happening in my life. And I'll say, yep.
De acuerdo, muchas gracias, Helen. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ceci, sorry. Hopefully that's right. Hi.
Hola, ¿me escuchan?
Hi, can you hear me?
¿Sí me escuchan?
Very good.
Bueno, estoy muy, 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 muy emocionada de estar con Helen. Yo conocí a Helen apenas hace un mes y me parece algo maravilloso. Mi vida ha cambiado, mi avance es grande.
Un momentito, por favor.
Pienso que
One moment, please.
que todo es perfecto en el sentido de
One
que,
moment.
bueno, espero para que sea traducido.
Can you hear us? Okay, one moment for translation. Thank you.
I am very excited to be here with Helen. I've been with you for 1 month now, and my life has completely changed.
Please continue.
Okay. Hace 10 años aproximadamente comencé mi camino espiritual.
I started my journey, my spiritual journey 10 years ago.
Vivía una situación de mucho sufrimiento y llegué al punto de decir, no puedo más, debe de haber otra forma.
I was living with a lot of suffering, and I thought, I cannot go on with this like this. There must be another way.
Llegó a mis manos el libro del poder de la hora.
I found the book, The Power of Now.
¿Sí? Llegó a mis manos el libro del poder de la hora y lo he leído muchas veces y pienso que ese libro me preparó para las enseñanzas de Helen en este momento.
I have read The Power of Now many times, and I think this book has prepared me to your teachings now.
Ahora lo único que quiero es escucharte, Helen, practicarlo y a mi alrededor, mi entorno, mi familia, no entienden, no les interesa esto y me siento sola.
Ceci, quizás podrías apagar la cámara de vídeo, que no se te oye con claridad. Okay, I would like, now I want just to listen to you. My only desire is to listen to you and just to contemplate and follow your teachings.
Wonderful. Do you have a question you would like to ask tonight? Perhaps we have lost the connection. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there for tonight then. Hopefully, she has gotten everything she needs from this satsang already. And if not, as you heard previously, once a month now, there will be live translation, interpretation also available on the Thursday evening satsangs that we have been doing. So, yeah, just so that everyone knows. Just like to say thank you very much for the amazing questions that were sent in and also shared here this evening on the satsang. Thank you so much, and thank you, Olga and Pilar, for being my Spanish voice again. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you.